Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're back with an instant live reaction to the Champions League final, and as you can tell, Liverpool Spurs. Liverpool are now the champions of Europe, how much as it pains me to say it. Now I went into the game as a neutral. I support Manchester United. Yes, I would have liked Spurs to win, just because out of the two clubs I'd rather Spurs win than Liverpool, but Liverpool won it, and fair play to them. But first of all, it makes me just so angry as a United fan. You got City have won the domestic treble. The other top four of the 6 teams have all got into a European final. And then there's Manchester United, who didn't get into a final or even a semi-final of a competition and are now going to be playing Thursday nights. It is so frustrating to sit there and just watch that. And especially the final. The final itself, just going on to that, 2-0 to Liverpool, goals from Salah and Divock Origi. Now, was it a game that I enjoyed to watch? Absolutely not. When the Sissoko penalty, the first goal, whether that was a penalty or not, I'm not too sure. It's one of those. Is it a penalty? It kind of hits his chest and then goes onto his arm, and his arm was up for a long time. He was pointing, saying, "Oh, go over there, go mark," and it kind of bounced. Say this is the control or the controller's the ball. It goes boom, and or like here, and then goes onto his arm, which is flailing out here. And is that his fault? Well, yeah, for flailing his arm around. And is it going to be given a penalty? Manchester United got given a similar decision to that with Kimpembe. Stuff with the ball in the arm. Penalties are just absolutely fucked in this day and age of football. There's decisions that get given for one thing. That same thing could happen next season or a game after or the same game, and it won't get given. It's a little bit inconsistent. And we saw in the World Cup last year, penalties were a big thing for England as well. And the second goal from Divock Origi, set piece, in tons of space, and then he gets that. And then from there on, really, I just gave up and, just sat there and just thought, fucking hell, this has been a tragic Champions League final. It's not going to be one to remember. Literally, the game from 2 minutes in, when Salah scored the pen, all the way to about the 78th minute, 80th minute. We had a good 80 minutes. I mean, the penalty wasn't really action. It was given. That's it. Penalty. It's not really action. We weren't really given anything for a good 80 minutes of the game. And for two top tier clubs with top attacking teams, the players just looked absolutely fucked. They had no energy, no passion. The stadium was quiet for most of the game. The chances were awful. Spurs controlled the game, but when they got to the final third, they literally just kicked it backwards. Sissoko was, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Harry Kane, dreadful. Eriksen, nowhere to be seen. Dele Alli had an opportunity. Kind of had to just take it because, well, why not? Son, actually, for me, was probably the best player Spurs had out on the pitch for the duration of the game. Lucas Moura looked good when he came on. Harry Winks was just... The defence of Spurs weren't really challenged at all. Liverpool didn't really make too many chances. They put a load of balls into the box, but they only really had a couple of chances. Both teams only really had a couple of chances, and Liverpool's players were pretty much non-existent. You had Firmino, who, probably shouldn't have been playing because of fitness, but he played, was non-existent. Mane looked okay. Salah was non-existent minus the penalty. Who else? They had James Milner actually looked good when he was playing. Henderson was okay. Fabinho was kind of just there. Wijnaldum was kind of just there. Robertson looked sharp as usual. Alexander-Arnold, I didn't think he had a good game. Van Dijk had a decent game. Alisson made some saves. But it was just a really, really boring game. And it didn't really open up until the 80th minute. And when it was 1-0 80 minutes and Spurs were making chances, I thought, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance we get this to 1-0 and it livens up in the extra time. maybe, just maybe, we get a decent Champions League final. We've been sat here literally for so long with no entertainment, apart from one thing which I'll get onto, but it was literally so dry, and, you know, people, whether they wanted Liverpool to win, whether you wanted Spurs to win, if you weren't a Liverpool or Spurs fan, the general feeling I got was, if you weren't from London, if you weren't a Chelsea fan, if you weren't an Arsenal fan, you wanted you wanted Spurs to win. If you were a London fan, a London club fan, you wanted the Scousers to win. If you're anyone else, you probably wanted Liverpool to win, Spurs to win. Sorry, because Liverpool now, okay, they still bang on about that Champions League final they won in 2005. They still bang on about that, or whatever year it was, 2005 I think it was. Now they're going to be sitting here banging on about this for the next fucking 30 years. Okay, reality of the year is for Liverpool, right? Congratulations, yeah, you've won the Champions League. For me, you still bottled the league. You're the massive league at Christmas, you bottled it. You're not the best club in England, that's still Manchester City. Yes, you're better than Manchester United. I'm 100%. I'm not fucking about. I'm not going to sit here and say Liverpool worse than Manchester United. Manchester United's in a fucking mess. We've got a lot of players that aren't good enough for the club. A lot are not good enough to be starting. Barely good enough to be squad players. And Liverpool are miles ahead of us. And Spurs are ahead of us in terms of squad depth. And Chelsea are ahead of us. And Manchester City are miles ahead of us. You can tell by the points gap. The top two are miles ahead of this club right here. But in terms of the match today, I think it was a very, very boring match. The best moment was when that woman came running on the pitch. That freaking X-rated model. That was the best. That was the most fucking exciting part I had. You know, even the chances, none of the chances were exciting. Milner's was a little bit, got me off my seat a little bit. And, you know, really I was, when I was disappointed when Liverpool scored first, because I wanted Spurs to win just because it'd just be funnier, really. But Liverpool have won. But do they deserve to win? Did they have a winning performance? I wouldn't say either team deserved to win on that performance. Whoever won has probably won a very stale Champions League final and will probably go down in history as one of the most boring, dull Champions League finals there's been, in terms of just nothing happening. Yes, the scoreline was 2-0, but the game reflection does not reflect that. It was a corner goal. I mean, the corners from both the clubs was absolutely shocking. Like, the amount of corners that were just getting defended at the near post. It was like, I know it's very hot out there, okay? It was fucking scorching out there in Spain. But it was like the players had just given up. They were so tired. And maybe it's to do with the fact with, the Champions League is so late. The Premier League finished 3 weeks ago. And yes, there are leagues that have to schedule the Champions League final, I'm guessing, in correlation to when the other European leagues finish in Europe as well, in case in that off chance that a different team gets into it. And the Premier League does finish earlier because we play through Christmas. And the other clubs, if, say, Barcelona got to the final and they beat Liverpool and it was Barcelona-Spurs, Spurs would be an advantage because Barcelona have to play a few weeks later in the league. But it's still, they've had 3 weeks and the performance really for a neutral was not good. If any Liverpool fan out there sits there and tells me that Liverpool performed well tonight, you need to go and wake up. Any Spurs or Liverpool fan that sit there and say that was a class match between two big clubs. These aren't clubs that are down here. These aren't clubs that are here. These are clubs up here. These are clubs that are fucking massive. They're giant. They're big in terms of that. Liverpool think they're off the fucking scale. They think they're all the way up here. In fact, if the scale starts where I'm sat at my desk right now, they think they're all the way over there, and the next club's about here, and all these other clubs like this who aren't quite at that level right now, they're all the way back of the computer. Liverpool fans, they get very big-headed when things start going their way. And that's why, when it was Liverpool versus Manchester City going for the title, I always back Manchester City, even though I'm a United fan, because City fans don't talk about what they win all the time. But Liverpool fans, they just get so big-headed, their heads to start going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it pops. Until they pop, and then they're like, oh, we're back on cloud 9. But anyway, the season's over. Time to start up again. And maybe that'll be us. It won't be us next season. But maybe it'll be us in the season after or the season after. It most likely won't be. But Champions League final, Liverpool, champions of Europe. I will congratulate them. But again, in terms to sum up the match in 3 words, boring, dull, and lethargic. But that was my instant live reaction. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.